Hey there, this is Jamie from Stonemeyer Games. I am the designer of Expeditions alongside Jakub Rozalski, who is the world builder and the artist and the storyteller behind the game. And I'm really excited today because to date, I've been working from this copy of Expeditions, and this is a pre-production copy, a PPC. And this is really a pre-production copy because we played it and we made a few changes to the components, things that I've talked about in the other videos here. But some minor improvements that I wanted to go over today. And as part of this, I wanted to do an unboxing because I received the revised PPC, which looks like this. Obviously, the real box will be like this, but I didn't need a whole new box. I needed what's inside the box, and we're going to look at that today, including the revised insert, which I have not shown you yet. So I really have not. I opened this just to see that things were in here, but I haven't looked at it in detail so far, and so I'm going to pull this out in real time. So one of the things, we have the rulebook here. The rulebook is essentially the same, but because we revealed this game so early, people had a lot of thoughts about little things that we can improve in the rulebook, especially this page. We spent a lot of time on the gameplay overview page of the rulebook. And so this is something we spent a lot of time looking at and revising and trying to get as right as possible. And so this is the revised version of that rulebook with that page here. So we have the revised rulebook. I don't think there are any changes to the Altama rulebook here. And I should note that I don't think all components will be in this box. I think some components, because they're mainly, only the revised components that we needed will be in this box right now. There's one thing I don't want to show you. That's a little secret that I'll hide off camera a little bit. Here we go. So here is the revised base camp. It's the same on both sides, or it should be the same on both sides. I'll definitely double check that. Mechanically, it is the same as the previous base camp. But you can see here, there's this cut right here where a tile slots into that, and that was not in the original base camp tile in the other PPC. And we reformatted this area. We did a play test with the PPC, and there just wasn't enough room to place the stars in this area. And it had a chart that we condensed down to this little chart that just took up way too much room. So this chart shows you how much each of your stars are worth at the end of the game based on your popularity. So based on how many quests you've completed as that's related to your popularity. So that is one key improvement. We just kind of improved this area. We pulled some things from below this chart and put it over here. These are how you'll score at the end of the game. You'll score for the total value of the coins that you have. You'll score coins based on your popularity for every star that's out here on the chart. You'll score for upgraded items, and you'll score 2 coins for each corruption token you have. And again, it's the same on both sides. That looks good. That looks really good. We have upgraded, or not upgraded, but updated tiles. So let's see if they did it right. So here's what the punch board looks like. And what we discovered in the original version of the PPC is that the backs were rotated 60 degrees too far, I believe. I think that's the right measurement. So let's see if we got it right here. So I'll pop one of these out. Here is the tile. Yeah, here we go. So it's oriented that way, and if you flip it around, it is oriented right side up. So this is one of the southern tiles, the tile in the south. So previously, the back was rotated a little bit. It wasn't that big of a problem, but ideally, when you flip over a tile, you flip it over, and it flips at the same orientation. So looks like those are fixed. I'll go through and look at each individual tile to make sure they're correct, but we have the punch boards. There's one. Here's another one. Here, I'll take a quick look while I'm on camera here. That side is up. Okay. So far, so good. Here's another one. That is central. Okay. Some central tiles. We're getting up into the north here, the cold north. Okay. Those are good. These are big tiles. Big tiles. And yeah, everything looks great. Okay. Let's get into the box here. So I'm going to show you the insert a little bit here. So here is what the insert looks like. You can see that there. And actually, I do need to see the revised box. I need Panda to send me the revised box, because one thing we did, you can see up here on the insert, there are specific places to put each of the mechs. And it's a little hard to tell which mech goes where. And so on the side of the box, we actually added a chart that tells you where each of the mechs go. And obviously this is a white box, so you can't see it here. But we sent Panda a revised box file that we'll probably, I think we approved it digitally, so I didn't really need a copy in person. But that side of the box does show where each of the mechs go, which slots they go into. One little thing that I would like to improve about the lid. You can see the lid here. There are 2 finger holds to get into this lid and lift it off. But it's still a little, it's tough to get the lid off, which is a good thing in general. You want the lid to stay on, but I also want to be able to get it off when I'm kind of tugging at it. You can probably hear it on the mic here. So you can see this, hopefully you can see that. You can see that finger hold. I wish that it was a little bit more grippy right here. Like I could get my finger in there and have a little hold that I can get to. So I'm going to talk to Panda about that. All right, so let's talk about Mech Mats real quick. So the Mech Mats, let's see if how well these fit. Yeah, okay. So the Mech Mats, they look like this. They have 5 different Mech Mats. We made a small improvement thanks to Gerald. Gerald was one of the people who was commenting. So we included these 3 actions in a rectangle inside their own little box here, which I think is really helpful because for most of the game, you're going to have your little action token in this area. And on your turn, you'll shift it from one of these 3 actions to another action. And then, so say it's covering up that one, this will be a turn where I take a move and a gather action. And then on my next turn, I have to shift it someplace else. So I'll take a play and a gather action. And then eventually you might get to the point to say, I just need to refresh all these cards that I've played. And that's when you'll send it over here. The red arrows show you what you must do. So if your token is here on your next turn, you must shift it there. And then after you take a full turn of all 3 actions, you must shift it into that box, and then it stays in that box for a while. So I thought that was a nice improvement. So we updated that. We also added, so there were a lot of concerns about being able to slide the cards under the mat. And if you did slide cards under the mat, if you're upgrading items, if you're completing quests, if you're melding meteorites, if you do that, are you going to knock around your guile, power, and action tokens so you can move them around? And so we realized there was actually a very simple, elegant solution, and that is shown here. It's a little hard to see, but this is a sheet of riser stickers. And so these stickers, if you want to lift up your mat, you can put the stickers in the corners of the mat, and this will lift it up off the table enough that you can slide a card under it. They are permanent stickers, so I would recommend playing with the game without the stickers at first. And I need to test these out to see if they are the right thickness. But yeah, so we have stickers that will lift these mats off the table enough that you can just slide a card into it and not have to worry about moving around the mat. Okay, so those are the Mech Mats and the stickers. Let's look at, what do we change down here? Well, we have I don't think there was a change with these, but I can show them to you. These are the base snaps. So in any given game, like in Scythe, if you play Scythe and you choose to play as Crimea, then you are yellow. Like your color for that game is yellow. But in general, like for example, I usually play red in games. I usually like to play red. And so instead of having colors tied to a specific like character or mech in this game, there are no factions and expeditions, just mechs and characters. We just made the colors independent of that, and you can use a base snap and attach it to a mech, like so. Attach that to a mech, and then for the game, you are that color. You've seen this in other games. This is not anything new, but I don't think I've shown you all the colors so far. They are also just happen to be the standard Scythe colors. So we have those. That's great. And I don't think that was a change for this PPC, but they included it for some reason. Oh, I know why they included it. This copy is going to Rodney at Watch It Played, or a lot of this stuff is going to Rodney at Watch It Played, so he can do a rules video about it. So we needed to have all these components for Rodney. And that's why we also needed all the workers and all the different tokens. And you can see everything comes in biodegradable, compostable bags. So we have a bunch of tokens that come in the game here. I will look through here to make sure all the tokens are here, but it looks like everything's here. They're packaged in interesting ways. I don't know why they included the cubes with the blue workers, but yeah. And then we have the other printed components. And I'll show you I'll empty out the insert and show it to you what it looks like with everything out of it. So this was a minor improvement to some of the cards. And it's not those cards. Yeah, it's these cards. Where we changed the size of some of the numbers. So on some of the cards, the numbers were just a little too small, and I'll show you an example of what I'm talking about. So here is an example of a meteorite card. This number in the previous version was a little bit too small, and this says that normally your core value when you play this card is 1 guile. However, if you have melded at least 1 meteorite, the core value is now 2 guile. It adds a guile to the core value. There's also another number down here for if you've melded 2, that gives you an upgraded benefit. And we fixed a few of those. Let's see, I'm just looking through cards here. Kind of an interesting card order. They put some reference cards right in the middle there. They probably shouldn't go there. Trying to think what else we did to these cards, because there weren't many changes to the cards. It was mostly just clarity. Yeah, we added a few borders, and I'll have to look at this. Well, actually, it's good to look at it in low lighting. You can't really tell, but I am in a fairly low lighting room right now. And this actually is because there's only one type of card in the game. And so this says if you complete this quest, you have to complete the quest by paying 1 power, and then you gain 1 card. And we added a little bit of a white border around that card to help it stand out a little bit better. You don't need to see what type of card it is because there's only 1 deck of cards in this game. Yeah, these look good. I'll have to go through my notes to see if there are any particular cards I needed to look at. But for the most part, those are looking great. Definitely better icons. And that was actually something that we changed on a few of the tiles, too. There are a few tiles that kind of blended into the background. It is a darker, spookier game. Here's some cards here. Oh, there's one of the characters. The characters are kind of in the middle of the deck here. So I'll have to talk to Panda about card order. We can change the order in which the cards are packed. And so I'll talk to them about that. But yeah, here's an example. Clear the blockaded bridge. There you go. There's an example of a card there. Yeah, so I'll make a note about card order. But otherwise, everything's looking good. So I'll go back and look at these tiles real quick. Because, like I said, we did have some small changes on some of the tiles. Not mechanical changes, but just to help things stand out. Okay, yeah, so here's an example on the warehouse here. So here's a warehouse. This icon right here. So this icon is covered up by corruption when you discover this location. But when you vanquish that corruption, when you remove that corruption, you have another benefit here. So when you go here and you gather, you can either gain a card from an adjacent card. So cards are kept within the locations. You can gain an adjacent card. Or you can meld an artifact that you control to permanently upgrade your mech. And this icon just didn't have a clear white icon, clear white outline, and so it kind of blended into the background. And we had a few things like that. In fact, I think this one didn't either. That kind of blended into the background as well. There were a few others like that. Yeah. I'll definitely go through my notes. We always go through and double check to make sure everything was implemented correctly. But you can see some of their cards here that didn't have white borders, and really like the background is very dark right here. So this card really blended into the background, but it's easily offset now in these reprinted tiles. Yeah, so this looks good. This is largely going to get my approval to Panda, which will mean that they can proceed to print all this stuff. And yeah, oh, the insert. I want to show you the insert as everything is removed now. Yeah, so here is the insert. You can see up here the spaces for the 5 mechs. You can also see that there's space. I've added room for 2 more mechs in the future. So we have, those mechs don't exist yet, but if they do exist someday, they will fit into the insert for sure. You can see up here this interesting design for the tiles, the 20 tiles. I designed this space, and I will test it to make sure it works as designed. But this space is designed so that you can hold actually 40 tiles here. So if in a future expansion we want to explore a completely different location, a completely different set of 20 tiles, then 20 tiles will fit into the base of this, and then slightly askew will fit 20 other tiles. And so it should fit 40 total tiles. I will test this for sure. Cards can fit over here. There's even a little bit of room at the bottom for extra stuff if you have extra stuff. Over here, this is the setup tray. So this is the tray where you'll keep workers, coins, and map tokens. And you'll just pull this out and set it out. And we've designed The height of it for the Mech Mats, and really for 7 total Mech Mats. So we have 5 right now. You can see how the Mech Mats go above it, but there's room for 2 more Mech Mats because, like I said, there's room for 2 more mechs to be added here someday if we add 2 more mechs. But this tray removes. You can see that. You can put that out on the table and just go like when you play. And then there's a little bit of extra space down here for more cards. Like you put the Automa cards down here. You put the character cards down here if you want. So for like a one-piece insert, it's a pretty modular insert. It should hold different components. Over here, you'll put the silicon base snaps in one of these, and you'll put the bag of corruption tokens over here as well. That's in the original PPC. Wasn't included here. Yeah, so what I need to do now is go through these components, double check the digital revisions that we sent to Panda to make sure everything checks out, and then I will send this copy. I'll send this box over to Rodney at Watch It Played so he can put together a rules overview video, or really a rules replacement video for you to learn how to play the game. Yeah, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. I am definitely encouraged by this. I really like the progress this has made, and really it was just little touch-up things like that, but we like to play test the first version of the pre-production copy we get in case there's anything that we hadn't noticed before. It's like the last chance to really change anything and yet still stay on schedule. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions or thoughts in the comments below. Thanks.